John Adams is one of the most important and influential figures in world history, particularly in the history of the United States. He was a key leader of the American Revolution, a principal architect of American independence, a skilled diplomat, the first vice president, and the second president of the United States. Living during a time of political upheaval and revolutionary change in the late 18th and early 19th centuries, John Adams played a central role in shaping the principles of liberty, justice, and constitutional government. Though often overshadowed by figures such as George Washington and Thomas Jefferson, Adams's contributions were essential to the founding and survival of the United States. His life reflects deep commitment to law, morality, education, and public service. John Adams was born on October 30, 1735, in the British colony of Massachusetts, and he died on July 4, 1826, exactly 50 years after the Declaration of Independence was adopted. He lived during the 18th and early 19th centuries, a period marked by Enlightenment ideas, colonial resistance to imperial rule, and the rise of democratic revolutions. This era witnessed major global transformations, including the American Revolution, 1775 to 1783, the French Revolution, 1789, and the early formation of modern nation-states. Adams lived in a time when monarchy was the dominant system of government, and the idea that ordinary citizens could rule themselves was still radical. Through his writings, diplomacy, and leadership, John Adams helped turn revolutionary ideas into lasting political institutions. John Adams was born in Braintree, Massachusetts, now Quincy, into a modest but respected farming family. His father, John Adams Sr., was a farmer, shoemaker, and local leader who served as a town official and deacon in the church. His mother, Susanna Boylston Adams, came from a prominent medical family and was known for her intelligence and strong moral values. The Adams family valued hard work, education, religion, and community responsibility. From a young age, John Adams was taught discipline, honesty, and the importance of serving society. His upbringing in a Puritan New England environment deeply shaped his moral outlook and belief in duty, justice, and the rule of law. John Adams was a gifted student and showed strong intellectual abilities early in life. His father hoped he would become a minister, so Adams was encouraged to pursue a classical education. He attended Harvard College, graduating in 1755 at the age of 19. At Harvard, Adams studied Latin, Greek history, philosophy, logic, and law, developing a deep love for learning and debate. Although Adams initially worked as a school teacher, he soon turned to the study of law. He was admitted to the Massachusetts bar in 1758. His legal training sharpened his analytical skills and deepened his belief in justice, fairness, and constitutional government values that later guided his political career. As a lawyer, John Adams quickly gained a reputation for honesty, intelligence, and independence. One of the most famous events of his early career was his decision to defend British soldiers accused in the Boston Massacre of 1770. Despite intense public anger against Britain, Adams believed strongly in the right to a fair trial and the rule of law by defending the soldiers, most of whom were acquitted. Adams risked his reputation but demonstrated his deep commitment to justice. This act showed that his principles were stronger than popular opinion, and it remains one of the clearest examples of his moral courage. As tensions grew between the American colonies and Great Britain, John Adams became increasingly involved in political resistance. He strongly opposed British policies such as taxation without representation, the Stamp Act, and the presence of British troops in colonial cities. Adams emerged as a leading voice for independence through his essays, speeches, and political writings. He argued that British rule violated the natural rights of colonists and that liberty could only be preserved through self-government. His writings helped educate ordinary citizens and shape revolutionary thoughts. John Adams served as a delegate to the First and Second Continental Congresses, where he played a crucial role in guiding the colonies toward independence. Though not always popular due to his blunt and outspoken nature, Adams was widely respected for his intelligence and dedication. At the Second Continental Congress, Adams was a strong advocate for declaring independence from Britain. He worked tirelessly behind the scenes to build support for the idea, and played a major role in persuading hesitant delegates. He also helped nominate George Washington as Commander-in-Chief of the Continental Army, a decision that proved critical to the success of the Revolution. While Thomas Jefferson was the principal author of the Declaration of Independence, John Adams was one of its strongest defenders. He worked closely with Jefferson and other committee members and passionately argued for its adoption before Congress. Adams later wrote that July 2nd, not July 4th, should be celebrated as Independence Day, as that was the day Congress voted for independence. Nevertheless, his efforts were central to the creation of the document that announced American independence to the world. One of John Adams's most important contributions was his work as a diplomat. During the Revolutionary War, he was sent to Europe to seek foreign support for the American cause. This task was extremely difficult, as the United States was a new and untested nation. Adams served as a diplomat in France, the Netherlands, and Great Britain. He played a crucial role in securing loans from the Dutch, which helped finance the war effort. Most importantly, he was one of the key negotiators of the Treaty of Paris 1783, which officially ended the war and recognized American independence. Adams faced many challenges abroad. He often struggled with loneliness, illness, financial hardship, and disagreements with other American diplomats, including Benjamin Franklin. European courts were skeptical of the American experiment, and Adams had to work tirelessly to gain respect and trust. Despite these obstacles, Adams's persistence and honesty earned him success. His diplomatic achievements ensured that the United States entered the international community as a recognized and independent nation. After the war, John Adams continued to play a key role in shaping American political institutions. He strongly supported the creation of a written constitution and a balanced system of government. Adams believed that unchecked power, whether held by a king or by the people, could lead to tyranny. He argued for separation of powers, checks and balances, and the rule of law, ideas that deeply influenced the U.S. Constitution. In 1789, John Adams was elected as the first Vice President of the United States, serving under George Washington. Although the role had limited power, Adams helped define the position and presided over the Senate. Adams found the vice presidency frustrating and referred to it as the most insignificant office ever devised. However, he remained loyal to Washington and supported the new government during its fragile early years in 1797. John Adams was elected as the second President of the United States, serving one term from 1797 to 1801. His presidency occurred during a time of intense political division and international danger. The greatest challenge of his presidency was managing relations with France and Britain, both of whom were at war and sought to involve the United States. Many Americans favored war with France, but Adams believed that war would be disastrous for the young nation. One of John Adams's greatest achievements as president was his decision to avoid war with France during the Quasi-War. Despite enormous political pressure, Adams pursued diplomacy and eventually negotiated peace, although this decision cost him political support and contributed to his defeat in the election of 1800. History has judged it as an act of wisdom and courage. By preserving peace, Adams helped ensure the survival of the young republic. Adams's presidency was marked by controversy, particularly the passage of the Alien and Sedition Acts, which limited free speech and targeted immigrants. These laws were widely criticized and damaged his reputation. Adams later acknowledged the harm caused by these acts, showing his capacity for reflection and growth. The controversy highlighted the difficulty of balancing security and liberty in times of crisis. John Adams was known for his strong principles, honesty, and sense of duty. He was deeply devoted to his wife, Abigail Adams, one of the most intelligent and influential women of her time. Their letters provide valuable insight into the early history of the United States and the role of women in shaping political thought. Adams valued education, morality, and public service. Though sometimes stubborn and blunt, He was guided by conscience rather than ambition after leaving office in 1801. Adams retired to his farm in Quincy, Massachusetts. He spent his later years writing, reading, and reflecting on history. Though he and Thomas Jefferson had once been political rivals, they later renewed their friendship through a remarkable correspondence that enriched American political thought. John Adams died on July 4, 1826. The same day as Thomas Jefferson, and exactly 50 years after the Declaration of Independence. His final words reportedly referenced Jefferson, unaware that his friend had died earlier that day. John Adams's legacy is that of a founding statesman, defender of liberty, and champion of the rule of law. He is remembered for his role in achieving independence, shaping American government, preserving peace, and setting moral examples of leadership.